Hello and welcome to the Yorkshire Gamers monthly Wargames update, and we are in the month of April 2025. It's been a really busy month, and get yourself a cup of tea and get ready to see what's been painted and what's been going on. No surprise with the first unit today, and it is the one that was Twerk in progress last month and was on the front cover of this particular video. And it's these guys. It's a unit of 32 28mm Napoleonic Prussian Landwehr. The figures are from Perry Miniatures and they are the metal set. Those of you who prefer the cheaper plastic versions, there is no real alternative for Prussian Landwehr, which is a surprise, because if you're doing it properly, as opposed to not factions, then 1813, 1814, 1815, you need a lot of Landwehr. And this is the first of about a zillion I'm supposed to be doing. It is the first battalion of the 2nd Neumark Landwehr, and they appear in illustrations frequently with this lighter colour coat, and it's very much lighter than the darker colour that I normally do for my Prussians. In fact, if we have a look at the officer here, then you can see, let me just bring that front unit into focus, that the officer is in the traditional Prussian dark blue, how I paint it anyway, and the Neumark is in this lighter blue that was used, or appears to be used, by Neumark and a couple of others. I think it was Elb Landwehr. So it's right. Don't put in the comments, your blame's wrong, because it isn't. Wind your neck in. So these guys are my usual 60 by 60 bases, 8 figures, based double ranked for Napoleonics. It's kind of my go-to basing style and size for these particular Napoleonic figures, and for virtually everything. For the Risorgimento, because you would have a slightly looser style of order, then I have gone for 6 figures per stand. But I think the Napoleonics, this looks much better. And as I've said before, I do this slight stagger with the rear rank, just so, as you can see there, you get the faces looking through, and it looks less linear, it looks more full than just having them straight one behind the other. As I say, all figures are metal. The flag is from GMB, I believe. I use my mate Ian McDonald, Flags of War, use his stuff a lot, and then I mix and match with other stuff from Pete's Flags and GMB. GMB particularly good for Napoleonics. Quick tour, very basic uniform as you would expect with Prussians, and just really 2 main colours with the blue and the kind of off-white. I never use real white, I think it's too stark on a 28mm figure. And then what I've done with these is I have varied quite considerably, as you can see there, the trouser colour. Ooh, a lovely brown trouser. And the figures come naturally with different shoe types, and a number are barefoot. Probably more barefoot than I would want to, but you know, I'm restricted by whatever the figures are made, and I'm not really going to complain to the Perrys, to be fair. So here is one of the rear rank bases, as you can see. Single command figure, i.e. a drummer on the base, and then 7 other guys. So here's the other rear rank base, and again you can see I've done the officer in the colours of the parent regiment, and very stark there. You can see that difference between the darker true Prussian blue, black if you like, and the lighter Neumark regiment colours. And finally Esther, we had a quick look at this earlier on. This is the other front rank base with officer on it that stands next to the flag. So there's the unit in line. I do like the look of a big unit. 32 figures, I think that looks the absolute business. And yes, it takes time, yes, it takes effort, but I'm not a lazy wargamer at the end of the day, and I get stuff done. So expect a billion of these coming up. I've got 6 of these to do for the brigade I'm working on at the moment, so I'm hoping to rattle through these over the next few months. And as I've done previously, I'm alternating Prussian French, and you'll see the next French unit in Twerk in progress. But I have painted something else this month. Here we go, more Italian wars, would you believe? And I've got a lot of painted horses lying around. Regular watchers will remember a few years ago I did like 200 in a couple of days. So I've got loads and loads of horses painted lying around that I haven't done anything with. I probably painted these 2 years ago, the horses that is, and they've been lying in a box with undercoated riders for a long time. And I've found recently that just getting these little 6-figure units done, it's a big motivational thing to get units finished, and it helps to crack through the larger Napoleonic units. 6 figures because that's historically kind of accurate, really. If you're seeing units of more than kind of 8 to 10 really in this period of heavy cavalry, they would normally be 100, 150 men. That's fine. A lot of people do 12, which then that's great, but you would want 200 plus for your pike blocks, because 100, 150 men, 6 figures, 3,000-4,000 men in a pike block. You can see where I'm going. So anyway, this is what I like to do. 6 figures, and these are painted in the colour of the Borgia bodyguard. And my good mate Robbie Roddis, if you've not listened to the podcast with Robbie, it's number 14. It's on the YouTube. Give it a listen. He's a great lad, Robbie, full of really good stories, and he inspired my Borgia army. And he sent to me some references in relation to the bodyguard of Cesare Borgia and the orange and yellow livery that is recorded on that reference he sent me. So here we go. Here's the first 6 figures, and pretty basic, as you know, gendarmes, condottieri, heavy cavalry, however you want to call them. They're so easy to paint, and they just look the business. If you can get your armour right, then really you've virtually painted the figures, because a bit of faces here and there, a bit of livery here and there, a few leather straps holding the armour together, and that's it. Bing bang bosh, you're done. Flags from Pete's Flags. These figures are from the Perry's heavy cavalry from the Wars of the Roses, which is a little bit before the Italian Wars time, but the Borgia period was really, it starts late 15th century, ends early 16th century, period of years, not even decades. So it's a very tight time frame, and it's right at the start of the period. But that's not all I've got done. If you haven't got enough Borgia cavalry, paint some more Borgia cavalry. This is the last of them. I wanted to do a couple of units of it because in the illustrations that Robbie sent me, this particularly striking orange and yellow striped tunic is quite prevalent, and there weren't any tunicked troops in the first unit that I did, and I really wanted to get that look, and really think I've captured it there. Really happy with this, and I'll show you at the end of the video the Borgia contingent. So I've got 4 units of cavalry. This is the bodyguard. I've got other stuff as well, but I've got 4 units of cavalry and of course Big Man himself. So these again are exactly the same figures, the Perry's Wars of the Roses range. There are bits and pieces added on here and there from other things. The rabbit's ears have come from I think they're from horses from one box that I've cut off the front of horses' heads I've not used, and there's a few bear heads kicking around, and I think that head there is from the mercenary box set. That's one of the great things and advantages of plastics is that ability to mix and match with your units and box sets to add a bit of life and individuality to a particular unit. I do love it when I see that, you know, Steve on Point talks about the kit bashing, and it's not, you know, he's loads better at it than I am, but just those little touches for me, the twist of a head or the use of a different head can make a figure look entirely different to the run-of-the-mill that's on the back of the box that kind of everyone will copy. So that is the stuff that I've painted this month, and I'm rather happy with that. So let's have a look at Twerk in progress. You know, something's happening when the white box of progress is out, and as I said earlier on, I am working on some Napoleonics, and these are the bad boys that I'm working on currently. And I shall just slide the box out of shot to make life a little bit easier with the focusing, etc. And get some light on these bad boys. So here we are with the current progress I've got on a Napoleonic unit, and these are, of course, you would recognise immediately from the Fanion. And yes, it's too big, but I love a good Fanion. I love a good big Fanion. So stop complaining on Facebook. These are French Young Guard Voltigeur. I nearly forgot them. Voltigeur. Who knows? It's foreign language. I don't understand it. The basing, I've not gone for Retreat from Moscow. I just haven't started painting it yet. This is, of course, as I say, a Twerk in progress. So I'll just pop that one to one side and bring this guy in, and exactly the same 60 by 60, 8 figures. A little bit of a twirl length here. Really do like these, the uniform for these. It's quite a nice mix of stuff with the green, the yellow, and the red as part of the facing structure, and the little bugle horns on the rear of the turnbacks. I think really makes a nice look for the unit. Again, pendants, I've seen those green, I've seen them blue, and I've also seen them yellow, so I've gone for yellow. I just think it sticks out more than the blue and the green, so that's what I've gone for. So there are, as you can imagine, there's going to be, just bring the other base in for a quick look while I'm talking. There's going to be, as usual, another 2 bases to do, and hoping to get these finished fairly soon. This is the big Fanion from GMB Designs. Lovely, fantastic. And to go with that, at the moment I am on painting the 3rd base, and this is where I am with them at the moment. Coat done, couple of layers done on the white, and then the musket and backpack are done, and the face is blocked in. So that's kind of a third of the way through, and I paint 8 at a time. If you didn't know, I'd paint them in 8. I paint basically for the number for a base, unless it's cavalry, when I'll do a little bit more. But we'll just get everyone out for a bit of a show for the next base that we are doing. So that base is front rank left as you look at it, and we've got an officer, standard bearer, and 6 regular guys. These are specially designed Yarkshire Gamer figure painter holders. Now they're about 15 quid from Games Workshop, and I'll sell you these for 10 quid. I'll even sign them. How does that sound for a deal? Or you could just use the top off a bottle and put some blue tack on for now. These are whiskey stones, if you don't know, if you've not seen them already. I never got whiskey stones. I just made you whiskey taste of stone. So, there we go. That's the Twerk in progress. Let's have a look what we've spent. How much? How much? Not a lot, actually, this month. I've been relatively good, I think. Occasionally, I realise I've forgotten to mention something on this bit, but, you know, the wife might be watching. To be fair, she really doesn't mind. So really all I've bought this month, despite going to Salute and winning an award, not that I've mentioned it, I'll talk about that more in a minute, but I didn't buy anything at Salute at all other than drink and food. Then obviously I couldn't afford anything, but more about Salute in later videos. I really enjoyed it, to be fair. So I picked up, this is an unplanned purchase, and those of you who recognise these things will see straight away. These are elite miniatures, and these are regular infantry, and I picked up 32 and another 32, so that's 2 units of regular infantry, and these here, which are, as you can probably tell, landwear. And I just somebody, I can't remember who it was, so I do apologise, I can't thank you, but somebody pointed out there was a load of elite miniatures for sale on eBay, and quite often eBay really is, you don't get the bargains you used to these days, but these were on for about £1 a figure, and so I picked them all up. So that's another 3 units to go with the Prussians. Again, it wasn't really planned this, because I've got a brigade of Perrys that are fully bought and in the process of being painted. The next brigade I'm going to do are going to be Calpe, and I've got landwear purchase for them, and then it looks now as if the next brigade I shall do as Prussians, as elite miniatures, and then I'll see which one I like the best before I decide what the 4th brigade in the corps is. So there we go. Not much spent this month, but a bit of a bargain, and we all love a bargain at the end of the day, don't we? It's been a busy month on the Wargames front, and I was down at Salute 52 in London, and I took the Battle of Mentana game, 1867, for its potentially final outing around the show circuit. Been out for a year, about 18 months now, from York, and it was a bit of a surprise to win the best historical game at the show. Massive honour, I have to say, and I was extremely surprised. I was pretty knackered that day, and Martin Gain, the president of South London Warlords, came up and said, "Oh, just stand next to this banner, Ken, and have your photograph taken." And I didn't feel like it, and then I realised I'd won, and suddenly I felt a lot better. It was lovely to see, fantastic after all the hard work that it's gone into, and thanks for all the people who helped on the table on the day. So it's time to get ready for the next show, which will be Partisan, and I'll be taking the AWI Germantown game, which features a lot of figures from my mate Dave Parrott, who passed away a couple of years ago now. It's a game we put on at Fiasco as a bit of a memorial, and it's a good opportunity to get the figures out on the table again. This is a couple of photographs of a practice game we're having at the club. It's not the train I'm going to use at Partisan. It's us trying to remember the rules, having not played them for a couple of years, but it'll be great to see you down at the show. So as always, quick look through the scores on the doors, and a few big numbers breached this month. Facebook 2992, nearly 3,000 there. Twitter's on the way back up 20 this month, 2901. I think the exodus has ended there, and things are just back to normal. And Insta 4037 up 93. YouTube's 2975 up 51. Hope to breach 3,000 next month. Podcast up 5 again, nice and steady every month, 422. If you don't already, please do give the podcast a try. It's available here on YouTube, but also on all podcast hosts. I'm recording episode 72 today. Facebook group 4981, just hovering under 5,000 there. Podcast downloads 176526, up 3899. Went through the 175,000 download barrier this month, which is pretty amazing. I was only looking for a couple of hundred an episode, so 3,500-4,000 an episode is pretty amazing. So thank you very much. And Blue Sky has tipped over 1,000 and up 52. I'm having to block loads of political stuff on there as well as Twitter. I really don't see the difference. It's just one side or the other. I just want to play with toy soldiers. Is that all right? So let's have a look at other things that's been going on with Yorkshire Gamer, previous podcasts and everything. And I will see you at the end for a quick look at the Borgia Bodyguard. Couple of podcasts out this month. The first one was with Jared Fishman from the 20-Sided Gamified podcast. I was on his show earlier last year, and it was a cracking old one, long one, and we chatted about many things involved in the gaming. Jared does or uses wargaming within his teaching within a high school, which I think is fantastic. I think it's something that we would have all have enjoyed back in our days, back in school. And then the second podcast was with a group called Company of Makers, who use wargaming and its related hobbies to help former soldiers who are struggling to get back into society having left the service. And they do some wonderful events. They've got online presence as well as an in-person presence, and they do some events at military museums, which are well worth attending. And finally on the channel there was an unboxing review of some 28mm Vietnam figures from Rubicon Miniatures that I picked up at Hammerhead earlier in the year, and there's some pluses and minuses, so give it a watch. Thanks once again for tuning in. It's been lovely to have you on board, and I wonder if the viewing figures will go up because I haven't got a ship on the front cover this month. Very interesting technical exercise. Here are, and I do, even though I painted them all, I do have to say I'm rather proud of these. This is my Borgia Bodyguard and Borgia Command Base. So all the figures for the armoured stuff is what you've just seen painted this month, and then in the background I've got these guys here, which are done with the Perry's Light Cavalry box set, which are meant to represent the squires of the knights, all dressed in the orange and yellow livery, and I think that's really striking. Looks really good. And then of course we've got the big man on his command base here, old Cesare himself, and you may just be able to see that in the Great Mould expedition that base got infected, unfortunately, and it's taken off the livery decals on Cesare's caparison. So I'm going to tidy that up and get that back up to scratch very soon. But yeah, I absolutely love the way that they look, and I do mean to get around to that Italian War series very soon, honestly. Right, thanks very much for watching. Tune into the latest podcast if you can, and I'll see you again next month if not. Until then.